Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has dismissed reports of an economic slowdown, citing robust tax figures. The Finance Minister argued that improved tax collection data means demonetization has not adversely impacted the economy. However, reports are worrying. A new study by the country's largest organization of manufacturers, the All India Manufacturers Association, suggests demonetization led to 35% job losses and a 50% dip in revenue in micro and small-scale industries in the month after the note ban. At the same time, there's been a 60% increase in the daily demand for work under the Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, the Manrega, which could be directly linked to job losses by migrant labourers following the cash squeeze. We debate tonight, will the effects of demonetization last longer than expected, or as the Finance Minister argued today, is the period of pain and inconvenience already getting over, with economic activity being restored? Well, joining us on this debate tonight, we have from the BJP, Sambit Patra, Jaiveer Shergill, spokesperson for the Congress, joining us. Here in the studio, I have with me Rakesh Sinha, RSS ideologue, K. Raghunathan, president of the All India Manufacturers Organization that has come up with that study, and Mohan Guruswamy, chairman, Centre for Policy Alternatives. Mr. Raghunathan, let me begin with you. The Finance Minister today saying that slowdown concerns are largely anecdotal, that tax collections are up significantly, and that shows that demonetization has not hit the economy. Would you agree with his assessment? And tell us a little more about this study that your organization has done. What are its findings?
On 9th of November, AIMO had conducted a detailed study to impact on demonetization. We came up with the first report on 17th. What is getting affected, where it is getting affected. Second was on 25th of November. The third report was specifically with regard to job loss in the country, which was published on 12th of December. The expert committee was given a task to analyze from 4 angles. Angle 1 was small and micro enterprises.
Yes.
2 was medium and large-scale manufacturing companies.
Yes.
Third was medium and large-scale industries engaged in export. Fourth was medium and large-scale in infrastructure. We realized that studies showed that at the end of 32nd day of the demonetization, the impact was fairly largely felt in micro and small-scale industries, including traders.
When you say largely felt, could you actually give us numbers at this point, and can you also tell us how you arrived at that kind of data?
We have 14 state boards across the country. Message was sent in a questionnaire format. Members were consulted, discussed. The expert committee went outreach of sample studies.
Yes.
And then we consolidated the numbers into a kind of a percentage. Any sample study can always be debated. Let's understand that. It can be 35%, 20%. It depends upon the sample study. It depends upon the analysis of the report.
And if you can give us some indication of the sample study, the sample size that we're talking about here.
I think we would have covered roughly about 5,000 industries across the country. Across the country.
Yes. Is this data that you have shared with the government? You've said you've given sort of your early reports in November and 12th December, but have these numbers, the latest numbers that you have shared with us, been also shared with the government, and what was their response?
See, when the demonetization was announced, we know it's a bold step by the Honorable Prime Minister. We were prepared for initial shocks, and we were expecting little betterment after 2 weeks, at least as far as trade is concerned. But beyond 31 days, it became unbearable. We tried reaching out to Honorable Finance Minister's office and the Trade and Commerce Minister's office, seeking an appointment to represent what the finding was.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we were not able to meet them because of their better other commitments.
All right, I think that's something we would like to take across to the political representatives on the show in just a bit. But Mohan Guruswamy, you've written today in Scroll that the loss due to the unprecedented drop in production and income to the economy is now widely accepted by economists to be around 2% of GDP. That's almost 3 lakh crore rupees. When you look at the IMO study, or for that matter, the latest study that talks about this sudden spike in Manrega numbers as well, how do you respond to the finance minister when he says that the drop in economic activity will just have a transient impact, that we've probably already seen the worst of it and it's over?
You know, he is the finance minister of India. He has to defend the indefensible. They've taken some steps which is costing us heavy, and he's trying to mitigate the losses. And you know, politicians, we know, are economical with the truth. So I think it'll take time, because these things don't happen. He's talking about revenue going up. I've been in the finance ministry. You don't get information which is newer than 2 quarters ago. So he would have just been getting some information on the first quarter, maybe second quarter, nothing more than that. He's talking about the quarter which ended 4 days ago.
Right.
Impossible to get that data. You know, he's projecting, or somebody's projecting for him, and he's giving it.
So you're saying that tax collection figures that we were given today by the finance minister are also a guesstimate at best?
Guesstimates at best. All these are guesstimates, and we'll have to wait for some more time for the real data to come out. But you can see the pain, palpable pain everywhere. You go to a railway station, you'd feel workers going out. You talk to anybody, they're feeling the pain. I myself have a construction site where workers have not been paid for a month or so because there's no cash. You know, so there is punishment everywhere. Vegetable growers in my village have lost their crop because there's nobody to buy vegetables. So all this is happening, and to say that they're not happening and the economy is growing and booming, look at other figures don't fit in together. Hero Motorcycle has lost 1/3 of its sale in December. Credit offtake has fallen by 1 lakh crores in November. Then investment proposals, new investment proposals, they were for running at an average of 88,000 crores till November 7th.
Yes.
227 proposals the previous month, down to 177 proposals from November 9th to December 31st.
So and it's a percentage drop of about 61%.
No, total investment proposal drop is to 43,000. That's half, 50% gone.
Yeah.
So, you know, what are we talking about? I think we have got to come clear and say, look, there's pain here, and we'll have to suffer it and come out of it. A big mistake has been made, and we should just try to overcome it instead of rubbing salt into the wounds now.
Sambit Patra, come in on this. Rubbing salt into a sore wound. Are we not? Are we seeing a government in denial here? Are we seeing a political party in denial here?
See, without any arrogance, rightly said that we should not be arrogant ever, and politicians especially should never be arrogant. If we would have rubbed salt into the wounds, then yesterday Bharatiya Janata Party would not have fared the way it fared in Faridabad's election. If we would have really been unkind to people, the way is being suggested over here, and if 60% of people would have been thrown out of their jobs across the country, and I have also gone through the report of AIMO, Mr. Raghunath is over here. They have projected that Maharashtra is one of the most badly and most severely hit state. Remember, we won the election handsomely in Maharashtra. If 60% of people would have been out of the sector and the pain would have been unbearable as projected by Mr. Raghunathan, then probably they would not have voted the Bharatiya Janata Party to power. The biggest weapon that people have to hit the politicians is with the ballot paper, is with the EVM machines. They would have hit us black and blue. But thankfully that they have not done us only shows that they stand rock solid behind the resolve of the Prime Minister, that is to fight against black money, which everyone in this country knew was almost like a normal in life. But today, because of the courage of the Prime Minister, a new normal has been set in. We have two eminent people on the panel. I just wanted to ask that Ankita, you, me, Mr. Raghunath and the other important panelists, they all know of the fact that if we wanted to go out to buy any real estate in Delhi, Mumbai or any place in India, we went with an amount in the check and with one amount in a bag or a suitcase, because that was the normal. Now, if we went to buy anything, there was a pakka and a kacha bill.
Once again,
that was normal.
We see the goalposts being somewhat removed. Let's get back to what we were talking about. Now, Mohan Guruswamy, come in on this. Did we hear enough from the finance minister about
we were
the
talking
concerns?
I just wanted to come on AIMO. Can I ask one question to Mr. Raghunathan ji?
Restrict your remarks then to the AIMO.
Wait for a moment. I'm answering now.
Yes.
We were discussing.
No, I just wanted to ask Mr. Raghunathan ji, who were the components of the expert committee?
All right, we'll just come back to that in a moment.
We'll come back to that. Please don't interrupt. You're not in Parliament.
We'll just come back to that in a moment, yes.
Now, you see, we were talking
No,
about...
I'm not interrupting.
You are still interrupting.
Because a huge amount of time was given. No, sir. A huge amount of time was given to both of you who spoke against the government. So naturally, the government has to respectfully answer to your queries.
Now, we were talking about economic costs.
Yes.
And suddenly you bring political gains. There's nothing to do with it. We're talking about one reality. There's a reality which has taken place. And there are people like today I saw a report that in the Gujarat local elections, Congress won hugely. Does it mean there's support for the Congress or the policies they had before? It doesn't relate immediately. There are sections of people who feel the pain, and that pain has economic costs. We're talking about economic costs here. We're talking about fall of GDP. We're talking about jobs in the unorganized and organized sector. All these things are totally different. Please don't bring electoral support into it.
Would you agree that we tend to hear an oversimplification almost from the BJP when it comes to equating political gains in recent civic body elections, which may or may not have anything to do in terms of a referendum on the demonetization?
My concern is that all the experts, those who are opposing demonetization, they are in fact contesting the normative consensus in this country. That normative consensus is against two things, against black money and corruption. Third is the tax collection.
But are they underestimating the economic
No, let me complete
impact?
because they have spoken a lot
Yes.
of things.
Okay.
And the third is enlarging the base of the taxpayers. And I think government is successful in all three. So 3 points I want to point out. One, Mohan Guruswamy has given a data that is very important, that Hero Honda has 31% decline in the sale. In month of December, all the vehicles, the sale declines because the model changes. So this kind of manipulative data to ensure that demonetization has failed is a kind of economic articulation of the political goal. Let me
Year-on-year loss.
No,
You're accusing me of lying. This is year-on-year loss.
Oh no, I don't say. I say that in December, in the month of December, because model changes, so that in every vehicle per sale, the decline of the
year
sale.
Also they lost.
No, decline of. So let me complete. Then you don't interrupt in this. Two more points. One is that once finance minister is projecting something, the projection is very important in economy. Every year the economy is projected. If he is basing on some statistics, that projection there is no reason to disbelieve. Second important point is that he is right that in certain sectors it was expected that there should be some job loss. But before demonetization, the real estate was on decline. Why? Because the influx of the black money in real estate led a kind of recession. So I think Sambit is right that there was a parallel economy in this country, and this demonetization had demolished the parallel economy. I think this is a transitional phase. We should not base our conclusion on the basis of one and 2 months. This is a long-term agenda, and I think
are you saying
people have
long-term agenda certainly, but also long-term effects on the economy? Because I think that's the concern that everyone is coming back to.
Ankita, there is no protest by the people. They are bearing the pain, and I used one phrase, that economic satyagraha, because people know that.
All right. I believe the Congress wants to come in on this, and I'm going back to the experts
They are
after
responding as in positive manner to the government.
All right. Jaiveer, Shergill, you had a point to make.
I think I just want to make 3 points. Firstly, it is undisputable that 3 Ds, if I may say, destruction, disaster and devastation, is the net outcome of this demonetization scheme. This scheme has done an irreparable and an irreversible damage to our economy, which can never be compensated. Now, the government has got into some kind of a versus mood. The RBI's predicted numbers in the long run and their stoic silence on the amount of currency which has come back reflects that the bubble of this long-term gain is busted. RBI has reduced the growth rate. In a report last week says the number of NPAs will increase by 12.8% by March 2018. Now, you can term RBI manipulative, you can term RBI as anti-national, God bless you. Number 3, now the point is that BJP has locked itself in some kind of a palace of mirrors where they are refusing to see the ground reality. The BJP is not behaving like a non-receptive government, refusing to take critical feedback. And the gentleman who was speaking from the organizations proves that he wrote 3 times and received no reply. Now, are the media reports wrong that 4 lakh factories in Firozabad, out of which 70% shut down, 2,500 mill workers in Havda jute mill were asked to leave, Assam tea and coffee makers had to sell their produce at 70% discount. Are these figures fudge? No. The finance minister is merely window dressing by presenting the figures which suit him. He talks about tax collection. Till date, the government has failed to share report card on job loss, recovery of black money, impact on terrorism and counterfeit.